Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is January 14th. It's my weekly shop update. So I hope everyone is having a great week. Hopefully a somewhat fun and productive week. I am getting back in the swing of things. As I mentioned last week, last week I was in Denver. I was at Mark Spagnola's shop all week. I was there for the launch party for my new class on my outdoor bench, and we also did a little project together where we made a little step stool type of thing. So this is our step stool project thingy. It's got angled through dovetails. The legs are split at 10 degrees. They also have a 10-degree taper on there, and it's a fun little dovetailed project. So we're going to be releasing a series of videos on this thing over in the guild. And let's see, I did a mostly all hand tool approach to cutting the angled dovetails, and then Mark demonstrated a mostly all power tool approach to doing the same thing. And basically we have the basic bench design, and then we're kind of finishing things off in our own kind of way. So look for this probably, I don't want to say an actual date, probably like late February that series will be done, and I will let you know about that when it is ready to go. But fun, quick little project. Also, while I was there, I was on Mark and Nicole's live show thing, Friday Live. I don't know why it was so hard to think about. So I was on last week's Friday Live. I'll leave you a link to that if you want to check that out. Kind of a fun little Q&A type of thing that you can hear. So that is that. So here is the status of my garden bench. I have the long 12-foot boards all broken down into the smaller individual parts. It's nice to get those things broken down and more manageable, because 12-foot boards are pretty ridiculous in this shop. So this is that thermally modified ash. This is the low temp stuff, so it has the kind of golden brown type of look. I think it's going to look pretty darn sweet. And as I mentioned before, this is my first time using thermally modified wood for an actual like full-on furniture project. Prior to this, it's always been boxes or accent woods. So it's my first time finally getting around to seeing what it's like to work with this stuff. And so far, as far as it machines amazingly well. It's almost like it's not even there. It's like silky smooth buttery wood, which is really weird. It's kind of hard to describe. It's also, like people say, it's very stable. So as I was ripping all these boards apart, they weren't doing anything weird or doing anything crazy. They didn't move at all being ripped in half, which is really nice. And I don't expect them to move at all as you're sitting here on the bench kind of acclimating, which is cool. I mean, it's super crazy stable stuff. I guess the only downside to it is it's pretty dusty, like really fine dust, like more than like any other wood I've ever worked with before. So you gotta wear your respirator and have the air filter running the whole time. But other than that, it's nice stuff. Smells like bonfire. So that is what I've been up to this week. Let's take a look at some viewer projects. First this week is a telephone bench by Bryce. This is Bryce's take on a mid-century telephone bench. It's made from solid walnut and constructed with half laps on the splayed legs. The finish is a Danish oil, and his wife sewed the cushion. Next are some picture frames by Barry. Barry made his first spline jig and 45-degree table saw sled to make these frames. He says that after messing around for a while, he decided to use the spline jig to put a decorative spline on the outside of each miter as well as on the inside of the joint. Barry has a video on making the frames over on his YouTube channel, and I'll leave you a link to that if you want to check it out. Next this week is a bench by Joe. Joe made this bench for a friend whose favorite color is purple, so he colored the seat in a dark plum micro suede. The base is made from aspen. This was Joe's first indoor furniture project that didn't involve 2x4s. Last this week is a kitchen table by Donald. Donald made this kitchen table for his daughter. The top is made from pallet wood, and the base is made from Douglas fir for the legs and pine for the aprons. Donald has a series of videos over on his YouTube channel, and I'll leave you a link to the playlist that contains all of those videos if you want to check out the entire process. So I've been getting a lot of questions lately on shop heat, probably because it is the middle of winter here in the northern hemisphere. So this is what I have in my shop to keep it heated. This is a 45,000 BTU natural gas garage type heater. Works pretty well for my shop. One of the things to consider about my shop is it's not that big. It has low ceilings and it's 400 square feet, so there's not a lot of volume of air that this thing needs to heat up. What really needs to happen is for the air to heat up all the tools and things inside the shop for it to really come to temperature. The other thing with my shop is because it is a tuck under garage, there is living space above it. There's living space behind this back wall here. That's the basement of the house, and I am partially underground. So I am, I guess, insulated, in a way that doesn't really demand a whole lot of heat input. What's really interesting about this shop is back before I used to heat it full time, whenever it would just come to equilibrium, it would never get below freezing no matter what the outdoor temperature was. So last week, when I wasn't here the whole week, I had the heater off, and when I got back, the temperature in the shop was 39 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature outside that day was a high of 18, I think. So the coldest I've ever seen it in the shop with the heater not running is 34 degrees, and that's when it was negative 20 outside. So I guess naturally, there's not a whole lot of issues with this place getting too cold, which is nice because I've always been able to leave my glues and things like that out here and not to worry about them freezing because it doesn't get below freezing in my shop, regardless of the temperature outside, which is kind of interesting. So what I used to do is I used to come out here and I flip on the heater whenever I would be out here. It would take maybe 20 minutes for the air temperature to come up to room temp, and then it would take a long time for everything else to come up to temperature. Now, since I'm kind of in and out of here all the time and at some kind of weird type of schedule, I just leave it at a resting temperature, and then whenever I'm actually out here, I'll turn it on. So the resting temperature is 65 degrees, and then when I come out here, I usually turn it up to like 72 or so, and that's a little more comfortable for me. Now, as far as cost to operate goes, I don't have a really good answer for that because I've never had this shop not having the heater in it. So when I bought this house, the first year I put this heater in right away in the fall. So I've never gone through like a heating season without this thing running. Now I can tell you the difference between running it intermittently when I've only been out here versus just heating it all the time and just raising the temperature when I'm out here has increased my gas bill about $30 a month. So about $1 a day to have this place always at a comfortable-ish temperature versus freezing cold, having to wait for it to warm up, and then being able to get to work. So there's that side of things. So this thing is very effective at heating the space, and it makes it very convenient for this to be an actual workspace. The biggest downside with this is the noise. It's not so much noisy if you're just a woodworker out in your shop hanging out doing your projects, but if you are making videos in your shop, this is the most annoying way to heat your shop. It is way too loud and super annoying and obnoxious for someone that wants to actually produce videos that care about the sound quality. So anytime I want to record anything where machines aren't running, I have to turn my heater off, which means I'm out here freezing a lot of times, which isn't nearly as nice. It's just a lot of background noise that may or may not be a huge deal to some people, but the biggest annoyance with it is if I'm cutting between scenes where the heater was running versus not running, and then I don't like it. So anytime I'm out here doing any kind of talking or doing anything like hand tools, bench stuff, where I don't have ambient machine noise, the heater needs to be off, which means I end up freezing quite a bit. Or I end up standing around waiting for this thing to cycle off so I can actually record my stuff. So in the future, if I had a different shop, they would not have one of these. Solely because of what I do for a living. So I think that's about it for me this week. I will have a sawmill video coming out later on this week as well. I'll be slabbing up that big elm log, which I picked up in the fall. That should be a sweet video. So thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the shop heating, or anything else in the shop or related or whatnot, even if it's not related, I don't care. Feel free to leave me a comment. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.